Hi, my name is Batoul Alkarim, and I'm going to be walking you through my Blue Digital Software Apprentice Challenge submission. First thing I'm going to do is show you what the user can even do. I added this search bar so the user can search by campaign name, and I made it so that the user can have all of their data displayed as they type. So I'm just going to put an F and all fall fashion will show up. The user can actually sort it by ascending or descending after they've already filtered for fall fashion. So let's go ahead and do it ascending. It'll start at 1800 and move upwards to 1900 and so on. And let's do descending. It'll start at 2200 and move downwards. The ascending and descending buttons work on their own as well. And then you can just completely clear the sorting here. I added some front-end pizzazz by putting box shadows under these buttons and the card components. And I just borrowed your video from your website to make it look like this is a collaboration between your team and me. Let me walk you through the code now to kind of show you how I got here. The first thing I did was clear app.js of any code I don't need, the starter boilerplate code. And the next thing I did was add sass because I knew that's how I want to style this app. After that, I created my lowest level component. It's going to be this reusable card that I know I'm going to take in and add object because you guys were kind enough to give me all of the data. So I created this very, very basic, very simple reusable component, and I knew I needed to plug it in somewhere. So that's why I made the card list component. And this component handles absolutely everything, and it's the only component I'm calling in the app. So let's get into it. Of course, I added the necessary import statements, and then immediately after I created this use effect where I'm fetching all of the data, turning it into JSON, and then setting it in this state. All of my data is going to live in this ads. Next, I had to standardize this data, and that was a little tricky at first, I'm not gonna lie, but I managed to figure it out after a few attempts. And so this is what I have. It's going to take in an ads array and a platform. The platform there is because I'm gonna be dealing with Google Analytics. So all I'm saying here is, hey, take whatever ads array I give you and map through it. And if any of the key value pairs in the DB are UTM campaign or campaign name, you as the program should recognize that this is actually campaign. Set it to this variable. And I have to do that for each one, ad set, creative, spend, clicks, and so on. And by doing that, I now have essentially, the way I think about it is a database with all the same key value pairs. Now I'm going to go down here and figure out a way to allocate the results from the Google Analytics. And to do that, I pass it an ads array, and I'm telling it again, hey, whatever array I give you, map through it and check. Do the ads from Google Analytics have any ads that match my ads? If it does, go ahead and return me a copy of this and the results so that I'm not altering the original ad. Then I created a use effect, another one, and this here is imperative, this conditional statement, because I was erroring out here for a solid 10 minutes, and I realized I just need to add some console logs, so I did, and I came to the conclusion that the data has not even loaded by the time JavaScript hits this portion. So if I add this conditional, I'm telling the program, hey, do I even have data? If I do, go ahead and do this. If not, move on. So I do have the data, and I'm assigning Snapchat ads, Facebook ads, and Twitter ads here through that standardized ads function that we just discussed. I have an array, and I have a platform, and here it is, my Snapchat array, Facebook array, and my platforms. Then I'm creating this variable called all ads, and it's going to be an array of all of my ads. I'm using the spread operator here so that I'm not modifying the original arrays, best practice. Then I'm setting all of the standardized ads as all of the ads. This is a state I had to put up at the top. Moving forward, I'm going to start talking about this filtered function because this is the most important one in my eyes. I'm using something React has called use memo, and I'm doing that because it's optimal to search this way. I'm allowing the user to search text-based and through the sort by, and the sort by is actually just through the spend parameter. So if the user is in the search bar, this is what's going to handle it. I have a state called search term, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in a second. But as far as the buttons are concerned, it's so beyond simple. It's something you learn when you first start coding. This if else, just to sort whether it's ascending or descending. Down here into the view, I have this input right here, and the value is search term, like I mentioned, and I'm setting search term on change. So every time the user is clicking a keyboard button, it's actually searching for them. F, fall fashion. B, back to school. S, summer sale. It doesn't need to be the complete word. It doesn't need to be entered into a search button. It should just show up. Then I have my buttons. They're just going through the set sort state and assigning it to ascend, descend, or none, depending on which button is clicked. Also very basic code. This part right here is where all of our cards are coming in from. I'm taking this filtered function and I am mapping through it, of course, to display the cards, but it's really cool because all of my data already lives there. And whether the user decides to filter it text-based, sort-based, or not at all, the cards are going to be there because of this filtered. So I think it's really cool that I'm only mapping through it once. As far as the CSS is concerned, SCSS, I wanted to make this very clean and as best as I could. So the only thing I could think of was using CSS grid, and that's exactly what I did here. I put in a few media queries so that if you are on a screen 1500 pixels or more, you're actually going to get 5 columns of data or cards. If you're on a screen less than 1500 pixels, you'll only get 4. I did this because there's a lot of dead space on the sides. By no means am I a designer, but I think this is what's best. As far as I can show it to you, this is 1500, but if we go to 1600, you should see the 5 different rows. And if you go to, let's say, iPad, you'll only see 2. And then let's say you want to go check this out on your phone, you'll see 2, but it's complete different setup since we're on mobile. I also switched the flex on this instead of row to column so that they're stacked. It's just a better look, I think. And I'm displaying the results at the bottom of each card from the Google Analytics. I think that's about it. If you have any questions whatsoever about how I completed my code, how I got to these solutions, or even comments about how I could improve my code, that would be great. I am so thankful for the opportunity to even attempt this challenge. I had a lot of fun decorating it and figuring out how to standardize all of this data. It was a really good time, so I just want to thank you for that alone. Yeah, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to text, call, or email me. I'm available whenever. Thank you so much, and take care.